Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and if it's first time, welcome. As much as I love reviews, I do want to be more than just a one-trick pony. I want to help aid in the growth of any Balisong flipper out there, and one way of doing that is by introducing more combos. Because learning tricks is one thing, but learning how to string them together is a whole nother beast. Because understanding that flow from trick to trick is going to be what makes your flipping look amazing. So today I have an intermediate combo for you, and you may or may not recognize this from my free versus $500 Balisong video. This is what it looks like. So before we get started, there are a few things I want to make of note. One, if you're a beginner and or intermediate flipper, I would heavily suggest practicing this on a trainer, such as this, before transitioning to a live blade. Two, utilizing a bite handle indicator to keep track of the bite handle when flipping, because during this combo there are going to be a few times when the bite handle comes quite close to your hands. And three, you don't need a fancy Balisong to perform this trick, as I literally have performed this trick on this Balisong, a 3D printed free plastic Balisong. So these are the tricks that you will need to complete this combo, and some of these tricks won't be done in its full completion, such as the kiss goodbye. This portion will go over the tricks and its transitions, and I will cover some more tips later. So starting off with the whip rollover, you will start on the bite handle. So as we do the index rollover portion of the whip rollover, we will catch the safe handle like this. So from here I will throw with my wrist and my fingers, because I want to make sure that it has enough energy going into it to give it enough air to rotate before I catch it in the reverse scissor. Then I will pull down with my middle finger to roll it back around my middle finger, and then pull it forward with my ring finger to move my wrist forward to catch it with my pinky. And within this open position for the reverse behind the 8-ball, I will bring my thumb close and then twirl my wrist so the reverse chaplain portion of the reverse behind the 8-ball sticks. And then from there, after completing my first chaplain, I will then switch it down to a 0G middle finger chaplain. From here, I will then transition it to the full orbit. So after one rotation, I will catch it with my thumb, and then with my wrist, following the previous movement of the chaplain, so in a right circular motion, I will then throw it around my thumb for a full orbit. So I will be catching the same handle that I throw. In this case, the safe handle. I then perform the same wrist movement into the half orbit, where I then catch the bite handle instead with my index, middle finger, and thumb. And this next part is going to be incredibly important, because you need to make sure that you keep your wrist moving as you catch the bite handle to prevent the blade from slamming into your fingers. So as you catch the bite handle and then move the Balisong in the same circular motion as with the full orbit, the safe handle should follow the movement and meet the bite handle, completing the open motion. Next, from here, you will start the fixed ladder. And you're going to begin the fixed ladder with your middle finger, so by the time you complete one rotation, your fingers will naturally land in the position for a Z choker. After performing the Z choker, you will land in this position with your fingers in between the handles, where you then can whip the Balisong around for a whip rollover. So after throwing the rollover and the handle is held in your hand like this, you will then begin rotating the Balisong towards you. As doing so, you will then place your fingers in the positions to begin the infinity ladder like this. For the combo, I only infinity ladder twice before the aerial, but you can do it as many times as you like. And before I let go, I throw it at this point, because according to the laws of conservation of angular momentum, the Balisong should theoretically continue upwards. Then from here, I time it, wait until both handles will land safely in my hand, where I will catch it in a standard catch. So now that you understand the entire premise and the transitions for this combo, let's walk through it with some tips along the way. That helped improve my odds of completing this combo. So for one, the reverse scissor. From the whip rollover to the reverse scissor, my first mistake with this is throwing it too hard, and then it goes too fast for me to time the catch correctly. Practice the throw until you are consistent in throwing it with the perfect amount of spin during the whip part with your fingers in your wrist, so it gives you enough adequate time to catch it in the reverse scissor position. If you throw too hard, it can spin too fast and you can cut it if you mistime it. My second mistake was throwing it towards me. which makes it harder to catch as it can collide with your chest and or put your arm in a weird position to catch it. When you throw the scissor, you want to make sure you throw it as straight as possible. So I like to lift my hand as I throw it to give it the momentum to go straight up, giving it a predictable flight path for you to follow. Next, for the kiss goodbye, as mentioned earlier, you will be performing the latter half of the kiss goodbye trick. And if you do notice, you can see my hands kind of move with the balisong. And by doing so, I am adding momentum and moving the balisong through the motion, preventing any dead spots where the balisong can stop and or stutter. However, at this point, I'm so used to it. And if you also have the finger strength to perform this without needing wrist momentum, more power to you. So for the reverse behind the 8 ball, you want to make sure that you use adequate circular wrist movement to make sure that the balisong sticks to your hand as you perform it. And instead of going into a 0G chaplain with your index finger, you will be using your middle finger, as it will make the full orbit transition easier. So for the full and half orbit to open, no notes here, just do your best to keep it smooth. And of course, utilizing adequate wrist movement to follow the other handle smoothly into an open without cutting yourself. When performing the fixed ladder, make sure to use your middle finger to start laddering, so it will perfectly place your fingers like this as mentioned earlier, so you're ready to immediately perform the Z choker after. It does take a while to get this part smooth if you aren't familiar with this trick. And as you place your index finger at its final position for the Z choker, I immediately start curling my fingers to prep my hands to let go of the safe handle and then to start torquing my wrist and twisting my fingers for the Z choker. So for the Z choker, if you're not familiar with performing it like this, you may know the Z choker catch that Will Hirsch does. And for that trick specifically, you usually pull it out while it fans to position it for the catch. However, for the whip rollover trick after, you actually need to push your hand into the Z choker like this, so you can place your index fingers right between the handles for the whip rollover. So for the infinity ladder to aerial, you do need to make sure that you give it enough time for a full rotation to do a full catch. I also like to throw this a little slower and higher because that makes it look nice, and it gives me adequate time to practice my catch. And when you do throw it up, you do need to be careful, because if you let go of the handle at the wrong time, you'll either throw it away from you or at you. So now that you have all these steps and tips, let's see the trick from every angle and in slow motion. Don't forget that tricks and combos take time to learn, so don't be discouraged. I'll have more tutorials for you down the road, most likely beginner and intermediate, as I do not consider myself to be an advanced flipper yet in any way. Keyword yet. Thank you so much for watching, and of course, thank you so much for supporting. If you liked my video, please like and subscribe, and of course, if you don't, that's okay. Please don't forget to take care of yourselves, take care of those that you love, be a kind, wonderful person, and of course, have a wonderful day. Thank you.